So yeah, good morning, everyone. Hey, it's the very last day of the conference. It's morning, so thank you so much for coming down here. Yeah, I really appreciate all of you here. I'm uh, I'm excited to see so many faces this morning. Yeah, considering it's last day. And I'm Mario. I'm from EF. I'd like to talk about some something I believe is an interesting and important topic, especially if you are interested in contributing to Ethereum itself. So yeah, I'm glad that you made it. And before we jump into work on the Ethereum, we need to ask what is Ethereum. And always when I put this question, I hear different answers because well, there are many sides to it. There are many opinions on what Ethereum is. So I would like to hear from you. What is Ethereum? Simple, one word, one sentence, something short. It's love. It's a blockchain. Yeah, that's right. It's very much true. I love that. Yeah, it's a blockchain. It's a protocol, but also it's we are here, right? So I like that meme. Future of friends, right? Ethereum is future. Sorry, collaboration. Cool, cool. Yeah, I would say something like yeah, my coordination tool, global, permissionless, empowering individual. We hear many of these things. Any other vision, Chris? It's a movement. I love that. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I agree with all of that. Like there are many viewpoints to it, and uh, so the thing is that like if we speak like more from the material perspective, if we want to touch the Ethereum, right? It's not just like this abstract concept. There is something to it. There is some code, some specifications, and so on. And that's what I would consider Ethereum in like the material sense of the word. So the Ethereum itself being implementation, being the code, being the software, the core developers are people who work on it, who help to maintain it, right? There is this group of people or different teams actually working on different domains and different parts of Ethereum. Just to give you an overview. So when we want to create this Ethereum, or when Ethereum was created, it just came as an idea. With well many parts to it, but we cannot build technology based on just some idea, some white paper. So then we have yellow paper made based on that, which creates the specification, also many EIPs, and the specification in Python creates like the specs, how the protocol exactly has to behave, right? This is like the first thing that the core developer or researcher needs to work on to figure out how to specify the protocol very exactly, so and also so it's effective to implement. And that's the next steps. We have the implementation of the consensus clients doing the proof of stake thing, right? The beacon chain, and the execution clients where we have actual all the data, all the transactions, all the smart contracts, and so on. So we have the implementation which needs to be tested. So we have like robust testing infrastructure of again different ways, fuzzing and cross-client testing, and researchers who are working around all of this, finding the best possible solutions to the problems that we are facing. On the other hand, if I say Ethereum developer, you can imagine like Solidity dev, like most of the people imagine some Web3 devs. So like those are people building on Ethereum, some DeFi application or whatever, maybe layer twos, different languages, using the existing infrastructure of Ethereum, the blockchain Ethereum, to build on it, right? Now, talking specifically about this, like there is a bunch of them. Like if I talk about Ethereum devs, there is Web3 devs all over this conference. All of the projects presenting themselves here are built on Ethereum. So yeah, thousands of them. On the other hand, if we look into the core contributors, there's maybe like the number would be around maybe 200. 142 is members in Protocol Guild, which is like a magic list of core devs, but it's opt-in, so there is not all of them. It's just part, and yeah, I believe that it would be like small. It's much smaller number, 200-300 of people who are contributing to some parts of the protocol. But what we need to realize is that like this whole machine that we have here, this like what is it now, like $500 billion running on all the tokens and everything on Ethereum. That's like understood. The way how it works is built by this many people, let's say, which is, I mean, it's more than many other technologies, of course, but still, if we want to make sure there are people who can carry the knowledge, who can work on this and especially different parts. It's impossible to be expert in like all of the Ethereum. So like these people are distributed in like many different domains around the Ethereum itself. So yeah, just to put a contrast, like what is happening here, the app developers, which I mentioned before, building on Ethereum using some Solidity, some languages, creating mostly smart contracts. This is like what people can imagine as the Ethereum dev, but it's like very different environment because it's, well, on Ethereum in a way that these applications are responsible for just its users, right? And they mostly compete with other applications. It's more like market driven, and I compare it to building like fancy cars, and the core development more to building the road itself, right? The platform, the actual infrastructure that enables this. Or I mean, I would even say that like Ethereum is a bazaar, right? So yeah, the core development is more about the low level languages, which means like, you know, Go, Rust, Java, C if you want, and which is building the clients themselves. And now these people are responsible not just for just users of some application that somebody built, but for the whole Ethereum, the security of the whole thing. And like it's the ethos, or like the way the core development works is very much different than the app development, in a way that it's much more collaborative, much more I don't want to say open, because also the apps are open, but open in a way that like there are people building the same thing, or like copy of Ethereum, similar or same implementations in different languages, and they always work together. They have to work together to make it work. And so it's more like people who are ethos driven towards a mission, and yeah, building this platform that allows the fancy cars. So yeah, what are they up to? Why do we even need them? Like Ethereum is running, right? So what are they working on these days? So most importantly, there is always maintenance. There is always something to optimize, to fix, to improve in the code base itself. Some ways how we can make it slimmer, more effective. So there is a lot of work on the clients, on the software of Ethereum. There is, of course, the new features coming in EIPs, which need to be implemented and tested. And again, like the testing is very robust. Like we did this thing, I'm going to mention it again, but the merge took like a few years, right? And the last year was basically just testing, or like most of the last year was just making sure that it's going to go smoothly, which it did, right? Ethereum is still running, as far as I know, like making blocks, and it's because of like a very robust testing and research and development cycle. Yeah, so again, the research and generally improving Ethereum, like we are talking about different visions for it, whether it's finance and this and this. Everybody has some idea what Ethereum is, but a common ground here is that we want to fulfill this vision. We want Ethereum to have the maximum impact in whatever your vision is, and contributing to Ethereum itself then helps Ethereum to achieve this. And I would, yeah, we have this thing about the infinite garden, right? Like Ethereum is a not a cathedral, but bazaar, maybe a garden where people working on the Ethereum are kind of a gardeners, or I like to say janitors, or people who are, you know, making sure that the infrastructure runs and it's nice for everyone. I would consider it as contemporary cypherpunks, people who are here to build the truly permissionless, maybe uncensorable, distributed systems, which are parallel to whatever the corporate or the government systems are creating. And really, like this ethos is what I feel in the core dev community, which is mostly, again, like less competitive, more in like non-profits and different teams working together. Similar to like I would like the whole core development reminds me like 8080 labs in 60s 70s, like the Unix development. Like yeah, so like the development, the research is there's I would say infinite amount of work on, speaking about infinite garden and just like, you know, maintaining, improving this. There is still shit ton of work. Vitalik, after the merge, says that Ethereum is only about 55% finished, and this is the roadmap, which also like doesn't represent everything that's happening on Ethereum, I would say. But you see many of the like each block has its own domain, its own expertise, and you can just spend so much research on it. So all of this, like the whole scalability trilemma, right? The blockchain trilemma, the solutions to all of these exciting problems, the things like the merge are being worked on by the core devs. But if I present this to you, if I talk about these like really important and very hard problems, I know it sounds scary. Well, because it is, because it's very complex. And what we try to do is the Ethereum Protocol Fellowship to make it actually less scary and much more easier for you to dive into these topics. So now, like, what is the fellowship itself? Just to give you a brief history, it was started by Piper, who is like Ethereum OG, if you don't know him. He started it originally as a CDApp, around 2 cohorts of people who we helped to funnel to different projects, mostly Portal Network that he was running. And after that, we took over and also we scale it and distribute it to different teams. So now we had just to talk about the program a little, like the idea is to give you the experience of the core dev in a way that it's very self-directed. You need to be able to choose what to work on and do the research and work on it. There are people who can help you and provide some guidance. We connect people to mentors from the current core dev community. However, like they are not there to hold your hands or anything, just to give you a PR review or provide you solution to some issue that you are struggling with. And it's completely open and permissionless. So we have this GitHub repo where you can see all the work that's being done, every update done by every fellow. And I'm going to have a QR code for the repo if you're interested. I'm sorry if I wanted to do the picture. So what we are doing is harvesting this like community of peers who are working on something together. Like everybody's working on something different, but together, right? It's this very loosely structured thing with just few phases, and the execution of the project itself is like the main part of the cohort, and also before the cohort we open applications and we reward stipend to the most promising people. However, you don't have to wait for this because it's fully open. So in the past cohort, we had like 24 people that we awarded stipend, that altogether 36 fellows worked on the cohort because they just can, because it's the GitHub repo and you can just come. And we even award stipend to some of them retrospectively because they proved to do a good job. So yeah, in the previous cohort, we had over 600. Right now, we are running the 4th cohort, which received like 400 applications, and we also did like more than 40 interviews and accepted more than 30 people. But these are the rough numbers that we are talking about here. We have like weekly calls, so we have this office hours calls and stand-up calls as well. The development updates, the 300 of them, that's this update provided by fellow every week or bi-weekly what they are working on, right? So we received over 300 of them, like information from people what they are working on, struggling with, and over 40% of them get hired to some of the core teams or got a grant to continue working on the core infrastructure. Here are some examples of projects from the previous cohort. You see it's very diverse, from like crypto economics to light clients, parts of the Ethereum clients, account abstraction, some research about data availability sampling. Here is an example where Vaning, she was working on DDoS protection in Go Ethereum, and as she implemented it, like a week later, somebody triggered it on Garley. So like it was lucky to have that. So yeah, you can read all of this in this blog on blog.ethereum.org. We met in Denver to you see all the previous fellows there. But right now, we are, as I mentioned, running the next cohort. So this ended in March. And since then, we've been preparing the cohort 4, which started a week ago. How it works, so we are already past the onboarding stage, and people are starting to work like research their project. So like the first 2-3 weeks, or like maybe even first month for somebody is just learning and diving into a project. So like from all of the spectrum of different topics, domains to work on Ethereum, they choose something to dive into, learn about it, propose a project, get feedback from mentors, and start working on it. So the rest of the cohort, the 3 months, will be basically just working on it with some weekly updates. And we're looking for people who have some technical foundation, who are excited to work on Ethereum, who have passion for this, and they're able to work with other people remotely, be self-directed, self-motivated. So it's open right now. You can join the calls. You can come to the repository and just be contributing. We will be similar to Denver before. We'll be meeting at DEF Connect with presentations and mentors. I gotta skip through it, but please, this is the repo. Check this out. So it's eth-protocol-fellows/cohort 4 right now, where you can see again all the updates, all the instructions. There is the program guide, a directory where you have all the information about how to participate in the program, and you can still join. It's like the best time to join like this next week, because you can still jump on the train of learning and then working on it. And again, like for active people who did even submit the application but just showed up and provide some valuable contributions, we can provide stipend maybe for travel to DEF Connect, or somehow award you for being part of us. So yeah, here are the QR codes, and that's it. I gotta finish. I know I'm late, guys. I'm sorry. It's a slow morning. So yeah, if you want to, the Google group is a mailing list where you can hear about updates from the program, but this cohort 4 repo is important. Yeah, so like let's work together on finishing Ethereum, and that's it. Thank you so much again, guys. And please catch me around. I work on this with my colleague Josh Davis. He might be around here. Feel free to find me or any of us to learn more about this. Thanks a lot. Yeah.